In this episode of Mighty Car Mods, we're up to stage 5 of the Focus RS. Let's call it stage 8. We're at stage 8 of the Focus RS, and we've got some very exciting mods to bolt onto this mofo today, so let's get to it. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car
on your
Mods.
brand new Focus, where you don't get dirty when you do work on it.
This is true, Martin.
I'm loving.
That is true. Today, we're doing a front mount. We're doing an exhaust.
Yep.
We got some other stuff over there. We got some other stuff over there. There's little bits and pieces all over the place. And
They make stuff for cars that are new.
sorry?
You can get parts for cars that are new. You don't have to go to a wrecking yard. You go, hey, look at this cool part.
It's strange.
And then someone brings it to you.
We'll be back to the wrecking yard very soon.
I like both. I like both.
These things over here.
I'm coming around to the work on a new car thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. You don't get dirty.
It's a nice experience.
You don't get
nice
stuff
change.
doesn't fall on your face.
Yes.
And it's like the bolts aren't wrecked because 5 other people haven't been there before you.
That's true. There's nothing I can say that's appropriate. That's a lead on to that. But anyway, what I will say is today we've got the exhaust, we've got a front mount, and then we're going to boost it.
Stage 7?
More boost. No,
Which
we're
is
already at
stage
stage 8. So more boost.
Stage 9.
Maybe the lower it goes, the better. We're at stage 8, and then we'll boost it. That'll take us down to stage 5.
And then our boost will land back on landing pads.
So there it is. Now, Martin, over here.
Oh, this is it.
This is one of these things I told you about, that I bought a bunch of stuff from Mountune, and this here, I didn't buy it. They just sent it.
Oh, yes.
They're like, here's a thing. So let's have a look. All right, Martin, so let's see what we've got.
You know there are people everywhere who are modifying their cars and their cars aren't old and crap?
Well, dude, look at that.
Well, they give you a cardboard thing if you want to paint the logo on.
No.
We should paint a big drawing of our own on there.
I think we need to do that.
That's a big cooler, man.
Look at that.
That's huge.
That is big and black.
We should leave the cardboard on
We should.
because it'll get damaged otherwise.
But how do I...
Will it do a harmonic if I do this? Go.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. So there it is. It's big and it's black. And as we all know, black intercoolers make your car go faster. To upgrade the intercooler, we need to remove a lot of stuff from the front of the RS, including the lights, bumper, under tray, and brake ducts.
Notice you're not using the ventilation tubes.
No, I didn't need them today. But I would like to know where the, where do all the stuff that you pull off, where do they go? Oh, your magnet strip? Yeah, dude. Look at that. Are they really going to sell these in super cheap order?
They are.
They're not, are they?
Well, it got submitted for approval.
And seriously, if they sold this, I'd buy a Yaris immediately just as a challenge. I would just buy it. And I would drive it. That would be my challenge to you. If they actually sold it and agreed to it, I would just go, okay then. You got a little flathead there.
Where are you going to get all your new friends from?
What friends?
Exactly.
What? All right.
Party time.
Coming down.
Whoa, look, an engine. Very handy when they make them all the same.
It is good.
Every single screw there is the same. It's awesome.
With everything undone, we can now start unclipping the edges of the bumper, unplug the lighting loom, and then get the whole thing ready for removal.
So everything's undone. We just have to pop it off now. Is that clipped on the right side?
Yep, that's undone.
Wiring's out on this side.
There it is.
Mad.
Oh, look, here's our sticker. That's awesome. So as you guys might have seen, we built this ourselves in Germany, which was pretty cool. And that was our little signature to make sure that, well, that it was authentic. And there it is. What's going on over here, mate?
This is the factory cooler. So this is the blanking plate they put on. You can actually just, look, you improved your intercooler efficiency. It's a blocking plate because I think in Europe where it gets really freaking cold, I think they were actually too efficient. Well, they needed to change up the thermal efficiency of it somehow.
Yeah.
But in Australia, you could probably just pull that off and you'd have an improvement. The one we're putting in is much bigger though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which for high boost applications and later on big turbos, stuff like that.
Well,
but apparently that little plate there is off a Transit, Martin.
Oh,
Bit
right.
of Ford Transit action onto the Focus.
There you go. Well, I mean, the other thing is you've also got plastic end tanks, which, you know, under mega boost is not going to be quite as durable. But I mean, factory cars have gotten so much better since the early days of intercooled stuff. Like, it's come so far in 30 years almost. When was the Silvia? 89. We're at 18. Like, it's close to 30 years. So, let's put it in.
Cool. The other side of these brake ducts are accessed from the inside.
Oh, okay.
I'll chuck you this 25 tops bit in a second. So that should come out somehow. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it should just come out, man, if you pull it. Nice.
Oh, still got a kind of
Map sensor disconnected?
something. No, not yet. Give me 1 second.
You already got bugs up in the radiator?
That off. So there it is. That is the factory Ford intercooler, painted black, of course, for extra performance and stealth, Martin.
The factory wanted to paint it black, so they did. So here's the new cooler. A couple of things to note. Firstly,
It's black, Martin,
it's black.
for extra performance and stealth.
You've got aluminium end tanks instead of plastic ones. Probably the biggest difference, dimensionally, is that it's a lot thicker.
It is, isn't it?
There's a couple of things to keep in mind with intercoolers, and one is that they flow differently internally, and two is that thickness in like the dimensions in every single way. So width, height, and thickness all makes a difference to how they perform. You basically want the maximum amount of air to get through there to cool the charge air, which is inside it. But this should just fit straight in place, which is pretty cool actually. Bolt-in, well in this case it's like a snap-in intercooler.
Yep.
It should just go straight in the front of the car, so let's smash it.
In the box there was like another little bit of hardware in here somewhere.
The map
Which would
sensor.
make me believe that there's just these.
I wonder why they put the map sensor on the intercooler. That's different. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so I guess we've got to transplant that one there over to here as well.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Cool, let's do it.
All we have to do is transplant the MAF sensor from the factory intercooler onto the Mount Tune intercooler. And then we've got to try and wrangle this monster into the same location.
Got to pump the hose in. If you grab right around the outside of it and sort of jam it as hard as you can.
I'm going to plug this one first.
Well, I'm going to plug this.
The front hole's plugged, and now we'll
tip's
plug
in, but
the
the
rear
rib,
at
the
same
sort
time.
of big flange of it's just got to go over. And then I've just got to tighten that thing around as tight as I can.
After a bit of an intercooler dance, we have got it in so we can attach it with the factory bolts and then reconnect the hoses.
Martin, I'm just going to put it out there. That looks tough as old balls.
It looks really good. It's big. Like trying to maneuver in there is pretty tricky because it's huge.
Yeah.
It looks mad. It doesn't really matter how it looks. You're hardly going to see it, are you, behind the bumper bar?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's full stealth mode. But you know what? We did this video a few years ago called Turbo Supporting Mods. And depending on what stage your car's at, you might need a big front mount, you might not. Sometimes the front mount's too big, Martin. You got to do a smaller one.
Can be. That's
but
true.
the point is that this here gives you options that otherwise you may not have. And the factory intercooler exactly is fine for doing what it was meant to do, but it isn't necessarily designed to do the stuff it wasn't meant to do.
Please tell me you're going to put a big turbo on it. Please do.
Me? Maybe you will, Martin.
Maybe you should.
Maybe you should.
Bag's not.
You do it.
It's at the back of the engine. Bag's
Yeah,
not.
you do it. All right, let's put the bumper back on, man.
All right.
Go get ourselves some nibbles.
I want jelly.
If this bit that I'm doing right now was a movie, do you know what it would be called?
The bumper.
Point Break.
Why? Point Break. Because it's blowing air on a brake?
Yeah. I'll just be in the wheel well if you need me. Do you remember when we were making this and that girl was just laughing at us because it took us 45 minutes and she can do it in like 20 minutes?
I remember
and she's one person and we're two people?
I remember Mr. Schmacker. Yep.
Okay.
Mit Schmackes.
Schmackes.
Das genau, mit Schmackes.
Yep. Schmackes. Schmackes. Big schmack. I think Schmackes is my new favourite German word. So I'm pretty sure it just means smash it, mate.
Schmacken.
I like him, he was cool.
How does this go on?
I don't know.
We've already done it. We did it in Germany. We should be able to do it here. That bit goes up there. This bit goes in here. I think these, it'll slide in. Then these clips go under the radiator support, which will kind of hold it on. Like that.
Yep.
And that.
Yep, my sides.
Yeah, man.
With the bumper reattached, we can connect up the lighting loom and then put everything back together.
These highways, all the miles and risks that we take. We own the road and we own the sky.
It's crazy to think that just a little while ago we were going through the exact same process with the same bumper, but we were in Germany, in the factory, assembling a brand new car. With everything reattached and double checked, our intercooler upgrade is done.
That's so subtle, man. I
Yeah.
love it. It's just so, you can see it's like huge and fat, and on the end tanks here you can see a bit of like a logo that maybe hints at it being something else, but it's just, like, look at that, you just can't tell. It's awesome. One of the interesting things that the designer of this bar said is that like this bar, and in fact a lot of the car is completely functional, like every vent, everything on there, rather than just being something that's meant to look cool, actually has some purpose, and it's kind of cool because a lot of cars doing stuff that's not actually functional, and that's all functional, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of function,
How good are motorbikes? Oh,
no, that. So there it is, the front mount is in. It was a little bit of a trickier install than on a Japanese car, but that's probably because on a Japanese car you just get an angle grinder.
different way of thinking, like all the plastics and all the kind of stuff and the bolts they use, everything's Torx. Like it's totally different, but once you get your head in that space, it's the same as when you're working on a Golf or a Audi or something like that. It's kind of similar manufacturing principles.
There's a lot more parts here, because if you think about like you get a Silver, you take the bumper off, it's just like you just got this piece. This is like hundreds of pieces that make up the bumper.
What I find interesting is that old mate who runs the plastic company, who specialises in intercooler shrouds, he doesn't just go to the Audi factory. He goes down the road to the Ford factory and up the road to the Porsche factory and goes, I have this nice plastic, and then they put it in the car, and of course it's the same.
And then they're like, schmacken.
Schmucker.
Anyway, that was a very enjoyable time doing that mad install, Martin. So now it is time to continue the adventure. Oh, have a good flight, mate.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
All
so
right,
quick.
we are down here at Castle Hill Exhaust, and today we're putting an exhaust on the RS, which is going to be exciting because we're going to get a little bit more of that bubble, snap, crackle, and pop.
The idea is to make it, it's a very quiet exhaust, isn't it, factory?
It's a very quiet exhaust because it's got the factory flapper in it.
Flapper. So we can open the flapper and put a nice, meaty
A big exhaust. Yeah, there's also
Needs it.
a couple of, I mean, it is a big exhaust. It is it 2.5 inch?
The factory one?
Yeah.
Yeah, between 2.5 and 3, I think. But it's got flat bits in it.
It does have some flat bits. It kind of really pancakes down. So we have another exhaust to put on, which we will show you all now. So this is our exhaust that's going on the car. As you can see, this has been on a car before.
What kind of exhaust is it, dude?
This is the best exhaust you can get for a Focus, man. This is like the best. This is the creme de la creme.
Why is it the best?
It's the best because that's what we have, Martin, and that's what we could get our hands on. Now, even though it is second-hand, it hasn't seen a lot of life. It's got a little bit of a hit there, a little bit dirty over here. There's some more of it over here. It's a bit fatter, more free-flowing. This is a Miltech Sport exhaust that is going on the car. It also has the HTL adapter here where we're going to transplant the little motor from the factory onto here, which gives us our little flap ability here, which you can adjust using the different driving modes, but then you can also do some adjustment with some aftermarket things, or you can delete it with a plug. We'll talk about those things afterwards. So this should be a fairly bolt-on affair, except for the use of an angle grinder, Martin. So we can't just unbolt that one. So the one that's on the car gets chopped, and then this one here gets bolted on. And then once that's done, Martin, we're ready.
For what?
You know what, Martin.
Yeah, okay.
We've got an exhaust, we've got a front mount, we've got our intake, we've got a suspension,
Turn
we've
it
got
up.
our wheels,
Page
we've got
up.
our tyres.
Page up.
Boom!
Page up.
I mean, not boom, but well, actually, we'll see. We'll see. So today's the day. Exhaust, power. It's going to be rad. Let's get to it, mate.
This is a really easy upgrade on the RS, especially when your mates are lending you their hoist. We need to make just one cut, and then we can undo the V-bands and remove the factory system.
We've got our two exhausts side by side, the factory one on this side and our new one on this side. Now there's a couple of small differences. The factory one is actually pretty good for a stock car. We've got about 70 mil. It is a European car, which is often metric, but that's about 2 3/4, which is a fairly uncommon size. Normally you'd see 2.5, 3 inch, 3.5, 2 inch, stuff like that. This one is 76. Now that is 3 inches. You've got an extra resonator in here which stops it from mooing and droning on the highway, but you've also got a smaller rear muffler, so the rear muffler is not going to be quite as effective as the factory one, which is absolutely huge. What you also don't have on the upgraded one is you don't have these flat spots. In the factory one, you can see to get in and around things, they flatten it down. Whether that makes a huge difference or not, some exhaust scientists will probably be able to tell us, but generally if you're changing the size of the pipe, it's not great for performance. You've also got it where it squashes down as you go through a few bends. This is a mandrel bent exhaust, so it's the same size the whole way through. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same deal. You've also got the facility to put the motor on the same thing on this side so that you can turn it on and off as the factory one does as well. So it fits. It's one of the easiest exhausts to install I've ever seen in my life.
This is a really quick upgrade that can be done in around half an hour, but later down the track, if we go for a bigger turbo, that's when we'll spend the time installing a suitable dump pipe to make sure we get maximum gains for our stage 52 Focus.
So what I'm doing now is just swapping over the little motor that runs the valve from the factory exhaust over onto the aftermarket exhaust. It looks like it's the exact same manufacturer. If you look at this component here, and then you look at this component over here, it looks like they've sourced exactly the same thing, which is good because it means we know that our fitment is going to be perfect. There's going to be a little spring inside this, and the spring is what keeps tension against the mechanism of the motor and the spring. So when I pop this out, you'll see the little spring, and that lines up with an indent on the inside of the valve, like that. So that little spring goes in that little valve there, and that's what operates. And I don't know if you can see down there, but that's what's going to control where that little flap is. So we're simply going to line up this spring again with that little valve, put this on. You'll feel when that seats and hear a little click like that. 3/8 mils, and then this one here is ready to go back on the car.
This valve operates differently depending on which drive mode you're in, so it can adjust the exhaust noise. You can delete the valve completely, but you need to buy a valve delete plug or the car will lock you out of some of the driving modes. For our stealthy objectives, it's actually a welcome addition. In the past, we've installed aftermarket systems on our Subarus and Nissans that do a similar thing, which keeps them under the radar. So getting a system like this from the factory is a real bonus. To make sure the exhaust tips are sitting in the perfect position, we're using the Cheryl technique. And that's it, our exhaust is done. With our supporting mods done, next time on Mighty Car Mods, we load the RS up onto the dyno and bring on the boost.
That's a big increase.